Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mindy Deeble, and I am one of your Blue Diamonds here at Trinot. I live here in Boise, Idaho. I'm so excited to help you come up with a business plan. Here's what I can tell you. No matter who you are, no matter what your circumstances are today, I'm here to show you and prove to you that that doesn't define what you can go create. Okay, I'm going to tell you my story so you can see why I'm so excited for you. But I actually got started in this industry. Now it's going to be 2 decades. So I'm definitely aging myself. But 2 decades ago, I got started in this industry. And you guys, I was a preschool teacher. I was super shy. I had no business being in business. And so if you're wondering if you have the power to do this, I just want you to know if I can do this, you can do this. But I got started and I was working full time. I have 4 children. If you have kids, if you're working full time, you can absolutely do this because I was definitely working and I was super busy. But I'm so grateful for this industry. Now, here's what happened for me, okay? I had a huge work ethic. So if you have a work ethic, you can absolutely do this. But I learned to treat this like a multi-million dollar business. When I first got started, my first 4 months, I really struggled. And then I realized what I had in my hands. And when I started treating it like a multi-million dollar business, in a matter of 6 months, we were able to walk away from my full-time job. My husband was able to walk away from 2 businesses. We actually tripled our income within 6 months, built a multi-million dollar business in our first year, and made millions of dollars with a niche product and timing. Okay, so you're at the right place at the right time to do something that I did 20 years ago. As long as you have a work ethic, as long as you treat this like a multi-million dollar business, we have a unique niche product for you to absolutely explode it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So make sure you have a pen and paper to take some notes because we're going to talk about really a business plan specifically for you. Now, the first thing I want you to do is drop in the chat, what are your goals? Okay, so here's what I mean by this. Some of you might be working full time. Some of you might, you just want to just work this part time. But there is a reason why you're here tonight. It is a Tuesday night, or no, it's Thursday night. Thursday night. I got to remember where I am. And I just got back from Cabo. And so my days are all over the place. But that's what I love about this industry, okay, is you can work from wherever and you can get your days all mixed up. But anyway, it's Thursday night. There's probably a million things that you could be doing tonight, but you chose to be here. So why are you here? See, when I got started 20 years ago, there was a certain amount of money that I needed to make it worth my time. And for me, I told my mentor, look, I can't do this unless I can make $10,000 a month pretty quickly. Now, for me, that was because we had already so much going on. 4 children. Okay, so if I was going to leave my kids, then somebody needed to pay. Does that make sense? Because time is money. Secondly, my husband had 2 businesses. He was traveling all over the place. And so I said, show me how to make 10 grand a month. And I'll do this. I want to know how much money do you need to make this worth your time? Put a money goal to it. Like maybe it is, you know what, my dream is to get out of debt. Well, how much money do you need to make to get out of debt? Maybe your dream is to pay for college, for your kids or something. How much money do you need to make that worth your time and make that happen? Maybe it's to bring your husband home, or for me, it was to come home from my job and be home with my babies. What is that amount that you need to make? Okay, I see Tita said $15,000 a month. I love it. Corey said $5,000 a month. Corey, yeah, okay. Sorry, you guys are going too fast. Okay, diamond by December. Diamond. Okay, so here's what I'll tell you. Diamond, for those of you who are new, Rachel put that in there. I love it. There's no reason why she can't, is $17,000 a month. And she absolutely can. Shane said $10,000 a month. John said 300,000. I love it. Okay. We're going to show you how to do this. Well, Rachel changed it. She said 30 to $50,000 a month ASAP. Let's do that. I love it. Okay, you can absolutely do that. Okay. Blue Diamond by January. Here's what I can tell you. Okay. Whatever you believe, you can absolutely do. Some people will say to me, and I'm not just that's I know it's a cliche. You've heard it before. But I want you to know that it truly is what you believe. Okay? Because some people will say to me, "Well, what's realistic?" And I say, "It's really up to you." We've had some people join who hit diamond in their first 60 days, creating $17,000 a month in their first 60 days. I had a couple out of LA who hit diamond in their first 90 days, created $17,000 a month. We have a friend, Lori Allen, who hit diamond in her first 10 months, creating $17,000 a month. We have people who, qualified for the Jeep stipend in their first day. Some people took 6 months. It's totally up to you and what you decide to do. That is what I can tell you. 100%. You have the ability. I want you to know it's not about your ability to do it. It's about your commitment to do it. And I'm going to talk about 5 key things that if you can overcome these 5 key things, you can create whatever you want. Okay. But before I go into that, let's talk about a business plan specifically for you. Now, whatever you dropped in the chat, okay, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. And I want you to make it a monthly goal. So I saw somebody put in 300,000. There's no reason why you can't. Is that a yearly goal? Is it a monthly goal? Write it down, make it by month. Okay. So whatever that amount is that you've decided that you've got to do, I want you to put a monthly goal on your piece of paper. Okay. Now we're going to talk about a business plan and I'm going to make it specifically for you. Okay. So first step is again, why are you here? So I asked you to write down a short-term goal. How much money do you need to make this worth your time? And then long-term, what do you want to create? Now, why am I spending so much time on this? Because, until you have a white hot desire to do something, you're not going to put priority on this. Would you guys agree with me that you can get anything done? You can create anything if you put priority on it. If you decide and believe that you can do it, you will get it done. See, for me, it took me 4 months to make this a priority. My first 4 months, I really struggled. How many of you know somebody? In fact, drop a 1 in the chat. If you maybe know somebody who got started in this industry and they didn't have success. Okay, just drop a 1 in the chat if you know somebody who got started and they didn't have success. Okay, I don't want that to stop you from you having success because I didn't have success my first 4 months until I made a decision to have success, until I made a commitment that I was going to do whatever it took to have success, until I was able to break through the 5 things that we're going to talk about today for me to have success. But just know it's not about your ability. You have the power. You already have the resources. It's going to be about your commitment to what you wrote down on your piece of paper. Now, for some of you, what you wrote down on your piece of paper, it might not be big enough for you to commit to it. And I'm going to tell you what I mean, okay? When I first got started 20 years ago in this industry, I knew that if I didn't make at least $10,000 a month right away, then I couldn't commit to it. It wouldn't be big enough to talk about $1,000 a month or $500 a month. Okay, so some of you, maybe you're not thinking big enough. Some of you, it might feel too far away that you don't believe it. Okay, so you've got to set a goal that you absolutely get so fired up that it almost makes you cry. But then also, it can't be too far away that you don't believe it at all. Does this make sense? This is why I want you to make a short-term goal, but then also have a long-term goal that gets you excited. So for me, many years ago, My long-term goal was $100,000 a month. I always thought, listen, if somebody else has made $1 million a year, why can't I make $1 million a year? It doesn't matter that I'm a preschool teacher. I can still do that, right? And I'm going to tell each and every one of you, okay, if somebody else has done it, you can do it too. So, what gets you totally fired up that, like, you would do anything? You would push through walls, you would walk across skyscrapers to make it happen. Okay. What is that one thing that, I mean, I'm not really being serious about walking across skyscrapers, but my whole point is, okay, if there was a building on fire and my babies were in that building on fire and I had to walk across a huge building or whatever, a skyscraper to get to my kids that were burning on the other side, it would be worth it. I would do it. I would do it. I wouldn't do it just for $100, or you know what I'm trying to say? Like the desire has to be big enough for you to be willing to go do whatever it takes to make it happen. Okay, as long as it's legal and ethical, which I'm going to make sure that what I teach you is going to be all legal and ethical, okay? But whatever it takes, this is so important. Okay, so write down your short-term goal, monthly goal, and then long-term goal. Monthly goal, okay? What is that short-term goal and long-term goal? In my case, 20 years ago, my short-term goal was $10,000 a month. My long-term goal was $100,000 a month. What is yours? It doesn't matter what mine was or is. What is yours? I want you to write that down. Okay. Now the next step, I'm going to show you how to get to those goals. Okay. So we actually have a business plan and a building block in Trinant. The first building block in Trinant is our Jeep or Jade position. It's actually our first position in the company, and it's the first building block for you to have success. In fact, I will tell you, when you hit this position, then you actually know how to hit the very, very top position of our company by just doing this. Now, what this position is basically you with two business partners and you and your team creating 1,300 in volume. I'm going to go into more detail with this, but that's our first building block. The second building block is helping people hit that position, getting to Ruby. And I'll go through that in a minute. But basically, if you get two business partners and then you and your team with customers and business partners in volume, okay, total volume is 1,300 points. That's our first building block. Then you just help people get to this Jeep position. And our first goal is for you to get these two bonuses, the Run to Jade bonus and the Run to Jade Plus bonus. It's you helping. Now, let's say you brought Bob and Susan in, help Bob and Susan in their first 30 days get to the Jeep stipend, okay, or the Run to Jade promotion. You're going to make another $1,000. But this is how you're going to get your investment back. And it's also understanding completely how to build all the way to the top of the company. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. Now, if you're brand new in the business, you're going to want to start with this business plan. If you've been in the business for a while, but you want to take your business to the next level, pretend today is day one. Okay. Today is day one. This next 7 days, here's what you're going to do. Let's say you get excited about this and you decide, I am going to build now a multi-million-dollar business. The first thing you got to do is create a list of people that already know you, love you, and trust you. This is what we call your power base. What's the work in this business? It's really just connecting and talking to people. Your network is going to be your net worth. And you know what? In any business, it's the same way. So let's think of your power base. And let's just say that you decide you're going to kick your business off with a grand opening. Every multi-million-dollar business starts with a grand opening event. When we were in the franchise space, before I got into this industry, okay, we actually had a big grand opening for our traditional business. We had a big barbecue. We had the radio station come out. We let everybody that we knew and everybody in that community know that we're in business. And if you want to get your truck bed lined, okay, you need to come to me. Does that make sense? I was in the truck bed lining industry at that time. So for you now, you're starting your multi-million dollar business. You want to have a big grand opening event. The cool thing with online is your grand opening event can be all online. You can have a Zoom just like this, where you invite people to come to your Zoom. Your mentor will do that Zoom for you, and we're going to let people know, your close friends, family members, your power base, the people that know you, like you, trust you, or love you, trust you. They're going to hear that you're in business. Okay. I'm going to show you how to invite to that event, but have them come to this event and schedule a grand opening. Now, this is completely a numbers game. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is think about people who you love, people who want to improve their health, want to improve their finances, which is everybody you know, okay? Make your list and start connecting. So let's say you make a list of 50 people. Well, out of the 50 people that you invite to your grand opening, because you're going to want to have your grand opening within your first week. So let's say today is Thursday, and let's say you decide to have your grand opening this Saturday. Well, you're going to make your list of 50 people. And then out of the 50 people that you invite, you might get a hold of only 40 of the 50 people by Saturday. Out of the 40 people that you reach out to and talk to, 30 may actually commit to be on your Zoom or grand opening. Then out of the 30 that say I'll be there, only 15 will show up. Half will show up. It doesn't mean that they don't want to see it. It just means that this is a numbers game. We'll get back to the other people later. But in your first week, if you can get 15 people to see Trinot, okay? So 15 people you love see Trinot. They jump on a Zoom in your first 7 days. Then out of the 15 people that see it, for every 5 who look at this, 1 will join as your business partner. The rest will be your customers. Now, you might have better numbers than this. You might not have better numbers than this, but this is pretty much the average thing for every 15 people that see it. 3 will be your business partners. The rest will be your customers. So what you would get is about 12 customers, 3 business partners in your first week. Now, let me show you how cool this is. Bob, Susan, and Lori joined you in your first week. And if you join on the Elite Pack and they join on the Elite Pack, or let's just say a couple of them join on the Elite Pack, or even 1 joins on the Elite Pack, you join on the Elite Pack, and the other 2 join like on a starter pack or builder pack, you've created your 1,300 in volume. But between you and the customers you get, Bob, Susan, and Lori joining, you should be at the Jade position. So you did that in your first week. What you're going to get from that is a $500 run to Jade bonus plus a $250 Jade bonus. Let's say that one of your associates, you get bonuses for what packs they join on. So let's say Bob joined on the starter pack, you're going to get $25. Let's say that Susan joined on the Elite Builder pack, you're going to get $50. And let's say Lori joined on let's see, Susan joined on the Builder pack, Lori joined on the Elite Builder pack, you're going to get $100. Okay, so you're going to get launch bonuses for whatever they join on. Plus, let's say that you got 10 DHS customers, you would make $200 on that. Now, the cool thing is you just made $1,125. You did that in your first 7 days. That's going to get your investment back. Plus, Bob, Susan, and Lori are going to be excited. They're going to want to do what you just did, right? So let's say by week 1 and 2, you did this, okay? You had your grand opening, you followed up, you created that run to Jade bonus, you made $1,125. You did that in your first 2 weeks. Now in your next 2 weeks, okay, week 3 and 4 of you getting started, You've now got Bob, Susan, and Lori who want to do what you just did. Okay, they're excited. They want to also qualify for that Run to Jade bonus. So Bob, okay, he goes Jade, Susan goes Jade, Lori goes Jade. The great thing about this is you helped at least two people qualify for Jade within your first 60 days. You got the Jade Plus bonus of $1,000. Also, you just hit Opal and you got the Jeep stipend as well. So you made about $2,500 to $2,800. You did that in your first month. Who gets excited about that? Who do you know, by the way? I want you to write down some names of people you know that would love to make, $2,000 to $3,000 in the next 30 days. Like Olivia and Nick, who were just on the line, they did that in their very first 30 days. That's exactly what they did. They hit Opal in their first month. They helped two people qualify for the Jade bonus, and they made a little over $2,000 their first month. Okay, that's what you can do. Now, think about this, okay? I just want you to see how powerful this is. Now, you just qualified for the Run to Jade bonus and you helped people qualify for the Run to Jade bonus. You did this all in your first month. Well, now, okay, you're going to continue to help people go Jade. I think you can see this process. You just helped three people go Jade. So the next month, you're going to help those three people also break some Jades. Now, if they just helped each person who came into their organization go Jade with three business partners, you would have another 9 Jades join you in your month 2, and you actually qualified for Ruby Pro by month 2 and created a set monthly pay of $2,700 a month. That means set monthly pay means you can be in Hawaii, Bahamas, or home in bed for 30 days, and $2,700 comes in as long as people that are joining, okay, are getting on these subscriptions, which they pay for that no matter where you are. I hope that gets you fired up. I love, that set monthly pay or that subscription money. I've been able to do that for the last 20 years now. And it's something that you can do. There's incentives to getting people on these subscriptions, but I just showed you how to create a set monthly pay for you and your family of $2,000 to $2,700 a month every single month, whether you're in Hawaii, Bahamas, or home in bed for 30 days. Think about what that could do for you and your family. So, for example, if you said, I need to make, okay, just $2,500 a month, okay, that is like my goal to make this worth my time, then I just showed you how to do it. You just hit the Ruby position. Now, let's say that you said, I need to make more than $2,500 a month to make this worth my time. Let me show you how fast you can do it. First of all, this is all about creating Jades. If you want to make a set monthly pay, our third building block in Trinot is Ruby. And it's basically helping 7 people get to the Jade position. If you help 7 people get to the Jade position, you're a Ruby and you've made a set monthly pay of $2,000 a month. Okay, so if what you need to make it worth your time is $2,000 a month, then I want you to write down, I need to help 7 people go Jade. That's just what I need to do. Now, maybe you said, you know what, I need to make $5,000 a month or $9,000 a month. My set monthly, what I need to make is $9,000 a month to make this worth my time. You're just going to help 5 people get to the Ruby position. That's $9,000 a month for you. So if you said, I need to make $9,000 a month, that's how much I need to make it worth my time. I want you to write down, you need to help 7 people go Jade, and then you're now a Ruby, and then you just need to help 5 more people do the same thing you just did. Okay, help 5 more people hit Ruby, and you're now an Emerald. Help another 5 people hit Ruby, and you're at the Diamond position, making $17,500 a month. Now, if you said, I need to make more than $17,500 a month to make this worth my time, here's the cool thing. Help If you want to make $28,000 a month, help 20 people go Ruby. If you want to make $60,000 a month, help 40 people go Ruby. If you want to make $115,000 a month, help 100 people go Ruby. See, my husband and I are at the Blue Diamond position because we just continue to help people go Jade, and then we help them get to, 7 Jades, and now they're Ruby, and then we continue to help people go Ruby. I hope that gets you fired up. I just showed you a business plan. I just showed you how there's no reason why you can't create what you just wrote down. Now, anybody that has a question about the business plan that is set for you, write the questions in the chat, and I'm going to make sure that you have a specific business plan for you, but that's like our first step. So write those questions down. I'll get back to them as we go. Now, the second step to all of this is I want to get you tied in to our system, okay? So you've got a business plan now. Now we got to get you the tools, the training, everything you need. I want you to write this website down. It's www.powerplayers.team. You're going to go to this website, and I'm going to go to it with you right now. But you're going to go to this website, and this is where you have so many incredible tools and resources. Okay, so let me get to my share. Here we are. Okay, now when you first get to this site, put your information in here, your name, your email, everything. Then after that, if you just want to go to our start page, you can always just go /start, okay? powerplayers.team/start. And now you are getting started as a new associate. You can always go through this. So the first step you're going to do, okay, is you want to make sure you schedule a welcome call with your mentor. So right now you're on our Drive to Jade, and you're coming up with a business plan, and we're going to give you the tools and resources to do this. But right after this, call your mentor and tell them when you want to have your first grand opening, and tell them what your business plan is. They can help you come up with a complete strategy session to make sure you're rocking and rolling. Why is this so important? Because you know what? In order for your mentor to make money, in order for me to make money, we want to first make you money. Okay, so our goal is to show you how to make money. And my goal is to help you make as much money as you possibly can. And then that's how we all benefit. The biggest leaders in this industry are the ones who really pour into their team and help their team make money. When they help their team make money, they make money. Okay, so we want to make sure you have a solid business plan, and then you also want to schedule your home meeting, or home meeting, when I say that, your grand opening event on a Zoom, okay, with your mentor. Okay. The next thing you're going to want to do is plug into our 60 days of social media posts. So you can actually click on this, and here's what's really cool. We have a gal, she actually does all of my social media as well. We have hired her to give you the best strategy to explode your business. Like day one, so tomorrow morning, you can start with this social media. Day one, post your first engagement post. This is going to get your algorithm going. There's a certain reason why we have this the way that we do, but you're going to do your engagement post, and then day two, you're going to create your curiosity post. The cool thing about this is you can actually copy and paste these captions with, following these pictures. Okay, so you're going to post a picture of yourself, just like Bethany did here, but use this caption to make it happen, or a picture of you being excited. It can be any kind of thing. But then you can follow this social media campaign all the way through day 60. Now, the other cool thing is you also have stories with your Facebook, and we have a Telegram channel that you can get to through this link, okay, where you're going to want to join this channel, and you're going to get all of the story posts that you can put in your story with social media. So you're going to get the content for stories. You're going to get the content for you to start your social media campaign. That is all here on powerplayers.team. So get plugged into that. And then, you're going to have your first grand opening event. This is a memory jogger for you to start making your list and think of people. I would go to Facebook, look at some of the people that you know or even don't know. Okay, we're going to also show you later on how to get to the people you don't know, but start making a list of people that you can get on your first grand opening event. This memory jogger will help you find those people. Okay. And then you're going to want to book your private Zoom with your mentor. That's when you call them for the strategy session, or they're going to call you for that welcome call. Okay. Book your private Zoom with your mentor, and you're going to want to start inviting. I'm going to get a little drink here. Okay. So, how do you invite? This used to scare me, this inviting. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are like me? When I remember I first got started in the industry, I was so excited. And then my mentor said, make a list of everybody you love, everybody you know, and I want you to start calling them. You guys, I remember almost passing out, thinking about having to call them. I'm going to help you, get past that fear to make it happen. But here's what I can tell you. Really think about this as a business, okay? When you're reaching out to people, you have an incredible opportunity in your hands. I mean, think about this. How many of you know somebody? In fact, I just want you to drop a 2 in the chat that would love to have a gift of financial freedom, that would love to be able to, own their own online company and make as much money as they possibly can, create a passive income for themselves and for their family, would love to have an extra $2,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 a month coming in to their household. That's everybody. Okay, so when you're inviting people, think of it as you're actually giving them a gift. Now, I have 2 scripts that I absolutely love, and I'm going to share them with you. But here's what's really cool. I'm going to go back to this really quick. When you go to step 4, you can actually learn from one of our biggest recruiters in the company, Red Diamond Sonara Brown, on exactly how to recruit. She even has all of her scripts here for recruiting. So I recommend that you watch this training, okay, from Sonara Brown to learn how to recruit. But I'm going to give you my 2 favorite scripts, okay? One of them is for close friends and family members. So how many of you, you have that sister? For me, I have a sister who I absolutely love. Um, I had a friend who had told me that her daughter had diabetes and she wasn't sure how she was going to pay medical bills. All of your close friends and family, they are dealing with some pain points in their life. And the top 2 pain points are either they're worried about their finances or they're worried about their health or somebody else's health or finances. Okay. And so we have the solution for all of those people. I want you to think about the things that they're worried about or they've told you about and then call them about it. So, for example, my close friend who has a daughter with diabetes, 20 years ago, I called her up. I said, Kara, listen, I know you've been worried about Carrie and those medical bills and how you're going to pay for those. I found a solution. I found a way for you to pay those medical bills, be home with Carrie, and really do what you want to do. What are you doing this Saturday at 2 o'clock? Can you jump on a Zoom and learn about this? This is going to be huge. Now, 20 years ago, we didn't have Zoom. I actually had her come to my house to learn about this. But for you today, you can reach out and say, listen, I have something that is massive. It can help you with whatever problem they have. Okay. I found a solution. Jump on this Zoom to learn about this. That's my favorite script for close friends and family. Think about a problem they have and how Trinot can be their solution and have them jump on the Zoom. Just only talk about the problem and the solution. Now, for people that I don't know very well, I have actually two scripts. Business people, I say, listen, I'm working on a business project that's absolutely massive. We're looking for key people like yourself. Do you keep your business options open? My favorite script. Maybe it's somebody online that you've been following. Listen, I love your passion for health, or oh my gosh, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. I love, your motivation and the things that you're doing. Do you keep your business options open? That one question, do you keep your business options open, has made me millions of dollars. So that's like my favorite script out there. I went to a home show many years ago and grabbed a bunch of business cards and then later on called all those people and said, listen, this is going to sound crazy. I ran into you at the home show. I grabbed your business card. I'm working on a project here in Boise. Do you keep your business options open? Some said yes, some said no. I didn't care. I just kept going through those numbers. Okay. You can do that with anybody. So those are my favorite scripts. However, Sonara has scripts and an incredible training that you can go through and learn from. I highly recommend that you watch that training and then you start inviting. Now, I recommend that you have this first grand opening Zoom in the next couple of days. It's better to invite for something that's happening right away rather than a week from now because people get busy. So if I'm calling Rachel and I'm inviting her, I want to say to her, I want to say, Rachel, what are you doing tonight at 6 o'clock? Rachel, what are you doing tomorrow night at 6 o'clock? I don't want to say, Rachel, what are you doing in a week from now? Because she's going to forget that I invited her a week from now. People get busy, okay? So it's better to have your grand opening right away. And as long as you're urgent and you're excited, okay? And what I like to say to close friends is, listen, this is so big that Tita, unless this is your funeral or your wedding, then you're coming to this, okay? Like I love you, I care too much about you for you not to be there. So unless it's your funeral or your wedding, you are going to show up, okay? That's what I said to close friends. This is what I say also to some of my close friends. Listen, if you can pass up $30,000 a month, don't be there. But otherwise, this is huge. Okay, your conviction and your excitement is what's going to get them to show up. Okay, now let's go back to this powerplayers.team really quick. So, right here, just for now, work up to step 4. But then after you do your first grand opening event, then you can go live on Facebook and share your excitement with your mentor. And you can go through other things here. Okay. We actually have a daily method of operations that you can follow. And, after you hit that Jade position, then you're going to go through some of these other trainings. The cool thing about this is you're going to want to get connected and plugged into all of this. Every Monday and Wednesday, we actually do a training for you and your team. It's at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Mountain Time, so 7 a.m. Pacific Time, Monday and Wednesday mornings. We will do all different kinds of training, social media training. In fact, I was just talking to my gal that does our 60-day social media campaign, does my social media as well. She's going to be doing a training event in the next week or so on one of those calls. And so you just don't want to miss those calls because you just learn tips and tools and ways to really grow your business. So that's something every Monday and Wednesday that you can plug into. Now, we have the resources and everything in place for you to win. But I want to talk about one last thing. Remember, I said there's 5 key things that if you can push through this, you can be a top producer. Have you ever noticed that there's a big difference between most people out there? In fact, in life, okay, real estate, business ownership, it can be car sales, it can be anything. Same with this industry. 3% are wealthy. Okay, 3% are making the big checks in real estate. 3% in the restaurant industry are making the big checks. And then 97% of the people out there are struggling, like they're living paycheck to paycheck. They're barely making it. Would you guys agree with me on that? Okay, so what do you think the difference is? There's 5 key things that separate 3% from 97% of the people. You want to know what those 5 key things are? And you want to know how you can be a 3%er here at Trinont? First of all, okay, before I get into the 5 key things, you got to be willing to do what 97% of the people are not willing to do. Okay, that's the first thing. And so that's why I say make your dream big enough that you're willing to run through the fires, right? To get to whatever you want to go create. You got to be willing to do what 97% of the people are not willing to do. So first of all, if 97% of the people around you are thinking you're crazy because you're doing crazy things, you're actually on the right track. Okay, so keep going. Be excited about that. Okay, but just know there's only 3 types of people. There's winners, there's quitters, and there's winners who haven't won yet. I was a winner who hadn't won yet. There's no such thing as a failure. So when I say that you have the ability, it's not about your ability, it's about your commitment. As long as you don't quit and you're committed, you can go create whatever you want. So here's the 5 things. First of all, number 1, you got to get focused. You got to be 100% clear on exactly what you're creating. The number 1 thing that stops people from having success is not being clear, not being 100% focused or intentional about what they're creating. That's why I had you drop in the chat, what do you need to make it worth your time? That is the first goal. And that should be like in front of you everywhere. It should be on your steering wheel of your car. It should be on your fridge. It should be on your computer. It should be on your mirror. It should be everywhere. Like this is number 1. Number 1 thing you've got to go create. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my story. Many years ago, I made a vision statement. This was before I got in the industry. I'm here today because of this vision statement, but I decided that what comes into your mind comes into your life. And I want you to know that whatever you're thinking about, you are creating. You are putting the energy out there and creating that. So, do you know exactly where you're going? It's hard to get someplace if you don't know where you're going, right? For me, I wrote a vision statement of what I wanted my life to be like. And this statement was really bold. And if you would have seen me many years ago, you would have laughed at my statement because I was driving back then a 1988 Chevy Corsica with 1,000,000 miles on it, no air conditioning. I was super shy. I had no business being in business. I wasn't a salesperson. When I got into the elevator, I didn't talk to anybody. Okay. I'm an introvert naturally. And so I would just stare and wait until the door would open and then I'd get out of there as fast as I could because I didn't want to talk to people. Like that was just who I was. Okay. So for anybody to hear me say this statement, you guys would have laughed at me because this was my statement. I am Mindy Deeble, a sharp, successful business person. I get what I want. I talk to people everywhere I go. I love people. I make $100,000 a month. I drive a black, shiny Porsche. I own a cabin on the lake with wave runners, snowmobiles, boats. And then I had, the things that I wanted in my life. And at the very end of the statement, I said, Mindy Deeble, nothing can stop you. Nothing. You look good. You feel good. You're enthusiastic. You are persistent. Failure doesn't cope with persistent. You have what it takes. Go forward. Just do it. I would slam my Chevy Corsica door. And back then, I wasn't even in this industry. I would walk into dealerships selling truck bed liners that I didn't know anything about. Okay. I didn't like trucks, drove a Chevy Corsica, but I would walk in there and I would close everybody in that room because I decided this is who I am. This is what I'm creating. See, here's what I want you to know. If you want to be a millionaire, you absolutely can. But you first have to walk like a millionaire. You have to talk like a millionaire and you have to think like a millionaire every single day. So do you have that focus on what you're creating? Do you know exactly where you're going? That is the number 1 key to success. Become a force to be reckoned with. The second thing you've got to do is you've got to know that you have the power to do this. One thing that stops people dead in their tracks of creating their dreams is they don't believe they can do it. They start focusing on their failures and their past baggage and the things that they weren't good at. Quit, it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. What happened or what matters is what you're creating today. When you realize that, you can go create whatever you want, and just know the pathway to success, you're going to have some failures. That's part of the pathway to success. One of the very best stories that I mean, there's so many great stories, but I love Kevin Hart. I think he's hilarious. Okay. He's a famous comedian. And do you know that Kevin Hart, when you hear his story, he went through 3,607 auditions before he finally got somebody that actually recognized him and said, this guy is pretty funny. Like, I like this guy. Let's use him. And now we know him today because he went through the failures. He just didn't give up. He understood that failure can't cope with persistence. Eventually, you will win. So, what you got to be thinking about is all of the things that you want to go create. That should just be in front of you everywhere you go, as if it's already happened. Okay, just know it's not about your ability, it's about your commitment. The third thing that stops people is fear of the unknown, fear of rejection. Just know that whenever you're taking your life to another level, it's going to feel uncomfortable. To have growth, there's going to be some resistance. It's going to feel scary. It's going to feel like out there into the unknown. And that means you're growing. That means you're winning. One mentor that I heard a few years ago, I loved what she said. She was a billionaire, and she still is a billionaire. But I asked, so what's the number one thing you could tell me to take my life to another level? She said, every day, run to the danger. Every day, do something that scares you to death. Okay, that's how you win. So Kevin Hart says this best, that fear that you're feeling right now, that's the dragon that you just got to go slay, because that dragon is guarding the gold that can come into your life. Go slay the dragon every single day. Okay, so that you can get to that gold. Okay, the last or the fourth thing, other people's opinions. This is something that stops people dead in their tracks. There's going to be people that think you are absolutely crazy when you go and do this. There's going to be people that are going to try to stop you from having success. Some closest people in your life are going to stop you or try to stop you from having success. Some because they worry about you, some because they're scared that they're going to be left behind. So I'm going to tell you a few personal stories. My dad, he's my hero. I love my dad more than anything. I saw him sacrifice and do so many incredible things for me and my family. He's always going to be my hero. But do you know that 20 years ago, when I told him I was getting in this industry, he tried to stop me. He said, Mindy, nobody makes any money in network marketing, only the people at the top. Those are the only ones that make money. I'm worried about you. You're going to go work really hard and you're not going to make any money. My mom is also my hero, and my mom actually didn't want to be my customer. She made me cry because she didn't want to be my customer. My sister, who is my best friend in the world, said, Mindy, I know people who did that. They didn't make any money. My brother, he's my only brother, and he's my favorite brother because he's my only brother, but I do love him, okay? He actually laughed at me. And he even said crazy things to me like, have you got rich yet in that? Okay. My brother-in-law almost made me cry because he said, Mindy, even if you are making $30,000 a month, I will never be a network marketer. Okay, do you think I wanted to quit when all of these people told me that? Absolutely. In fact, it was my first day. I almost quit. I'm so grateful, though, that I realized if I buy into their opinions, I'm buying into their lifestyle. All of them were broke, just like I was. I didn't want that lifestyle. So I'm grateful that I followed somebody who had the lifestyle that I wanted. And I realized when it comes to finances, I've got to listen to somebody else. Now, here's what I can tell you. All those people who thought I was crazy and told me it won't work, and some of them laughed at me, they all love this industry today because it's blessed them in a major way. They have so much respect that I went and did it anyway because they saw me create a lifestyle that we had never had before. And I was able to bless them. In fact, my dad, who is my hero, he went through a time in his life that we didn't know was coming. I was able to purchase a home for him and get his life back on track when I never thought, I mean, he was retired when I talked to him about the industry. But then in 2008, lost everything. And I was able to give back to him what he had given to me for so many years. You don't know what's ahead of you. Okay. But I just want you to know that there are blessings that will come to you. And there's people who are counting on you to go make it happen. So if it's in your heart and you have a dream, go do it. Okay. Just go make it happen. And all those people who think you're crazy, they're going to someday respect you. And some of them even will join you. Many of those people, my brother in law, who said, I'll never be in the industry, even when you make $30,000 a month, guess what? He built with me. He built something big with me because later he saw, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. I can do this too. So you're going to have people who think you're crazy, but here's what I'll say. I'm going to say it again. In order to get into the 3%, you have to be willing to do what 97% of the people are not willing to do. So if 97% of the people around you are thinking you're crazy right now, you're actually on the right track. Just keep going. Okay. The last thing is this is going to take work. Okay. So it's not like sign an application and tomorrow you're going to get paid $1 million. I wish it was that easy. I think that I can't remember who said this, but you can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic, right? If you have a work ethic though, and you have a desire to have more in your life, you absolutely have the ability to go create whatever you want. And so you can get past all of those 5 things. You can build a multi-million dollar business and you can create whatever kind of lifestyle you want. You guys, I know you can do it. I know you can because not only have I been able to do it, but I helped my best friend from high school make over 8 figures in this arena. If she can do it, if I can do it, if your mentor and the people that you're working with can do it, anybody can do this. So let's go make some big things happen. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to go back to the steps really quick. You have a business plan now, but if you don't feel totally clear on that, make sure you call your mentor and schedule a strategy session with them and also schedule a time that you're going to do your first Zoom. Let's get that first Zoom going. And then after that, follow those steps on powerplayers.team. Get plugged into our social media campaign, get plugged into our trainings, and we're going to see all of you at all of our events that we have going on. We have events happening every single night, so make sure you're plugged into that. But you guys, we're so excited about what you can create. Put those goals in front of you and let's go make them happen. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And we'll see all of you at all of our events we have going on. You guys have a great night. Thank you, everybody. Bye.